What's up to all of my Geminis out there? Welcome to Pulse of the Cosmos. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of this week's astrology for the week of August 10th through the 16th of 2020. But first, a little shout out to my subscribers out there. I appreciate you guys being so patient with me these past few weeks. I have moved a lot, but I'm finally in an apartment and in a space where I can create and do this more often for you guys. So I love you. Thanks for hanging in there. But let's get into the astrology because it's a pretty intense week. We are not only in the build up to this new moon in Leo coming next week, we are going through some major yod aspects this week with the sun quincunxing over to this Capricorn energy and over to Neptune and Pisces as well. While those two energies sextile each other, there's a lot of pressure on the sun. And for you guys, my Geminis, the sun is over there in your third house. So this is a kind of where your attention, your awareness is turned to at this moment. And this has to deal with your communication systems and your immediate environment and your mental processes. So you could be even experiencing some anxiety or some feelings of overthinking through this time while the sun's undergoing so much pressure at the base of this point. A yod in astrology is the finger of God. So it's a moment of destiny, and it's kind of a time to step up to the plate and make those major choices or make those major changes that we need to make within ourselves. And with the sun in Leo and in your third house, it's time to communicate your heart. It's time to communicate what you need and what you want, and take a look at how you're working with the law of attraction here, my Geminis. I think especially as we have Capricorn, your 8th house, where there's been a lot of energy since the end of 2017 surrounding a lot of these deeper, more subatomic transformations. You've been doing a lot of internal work. And I think a lot of my Geminis out there have been unpacking and unraveling a lot of traumas and seeking to heal from that. And a lot of letting go of past behaviors, of how you approach intimate relationships, and looking to heal aspects of yourself so that you can bring in the kind of intimate relationships that you're seeking with that kind of depth and that kind of substance. And now that we're kind of in this space where we've done a lot of work on this area, we're coming back to, okay, so how are you communicating this, your new self? How are you communicating your needs and your wants and your desires to the universe, not only to people around you, but how are you working this with the laws of the universe to kind of attract the things that you want into your life in an energetic way? And we have to make sure, as well as this is going to be affecting Neptune over there in Pisces, for you guys, your 10th house, we're taking a look at, are the long-term goals that you have for yourself connected to a divine feeling or a divine source or a divine calling? Do you feel spiritually connected to the long-term goals or even the career goals that you've set for yourself at this point? Or is there a little bit of a disconnect there where we need to reevaluate? You know, with Mars squaring over to this Capricorn energy as well, Mars being in your 11th house, there could be a lot of fears about how you're going to step into the future after you've undergone so many changes and so many shifts in yourself. And maybe even for some of you guys, a fear of success, a fear of stepping into this new self and experiencing this success and the happiness and the worth that you've been working so hard to attain. And for others, it could be, you know, the very typical fear of failure. Or fear of how you're being looked at, or fear of being judged by friends. And it's important to remember to come back to your own inner being in those circumstances and see what feels like it's in alignment with you, and start acting from that space of higher self, and watch the energy of the universe just kind of match with that vibration of you appreciating your worth and value, and putting circumstances and people in your life that nurture that same aspect, where there's growth and there's expansion together. But you have to make sure, again, I'm going to come back to that you're communicating what you want and what you need, because being silent or not stepping into that space of communication for fear of how it's going to be received is going to hold you back in the end. So in any case, let's check out what's going on in the cards for you guys. And you know, we do have the moon in Cancer coming through its dark moon this weekend before the new moon. And it's going to be coming through your second house. So this is your second house of owning, and also the second house of self-worth and self-value. And So there could be some emotions coming up this weekend, some kind of deeper emotions coming up surrounding your self-worth and self-value as we're coming into this new moon. So maybe take some time to do some meditative work on that, or do some affirmations, or do some kind of positive things that feed your soul in a positive way, feed that worth and feed that abundance to kind of redirect where some of that darker energy can go. But in any case, okay, let's pull from the guides. Okay. So at first we did pull the Seven of Pentacles reversed. So yeah, maybe it's time to reflect on where you've been putting in all this hard work and see if you're actually gaining anything from it. Like if you're investing all of your energy into a relationship or into a job or into a career, and it's just a mindless kind of investment because it's something to do and it's work and it's there, but you're not actually gaining anything from it, that might be the feeling with some of my Geminis this week, reflecting on kind of some of that, those areas of their life and seeing, am I really gaining anything from this experience that I'm putting all this hard work into? And the challenge is we got the challenge as the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is a really fast moving knight, and sometimes he can be a little bit reckless. He hasn't thought things all the way through. Once we get to the King of Swords, we've kind of matured the suit and there's kind of a thoughtful approach to things. But the Knight of Swords can sometimes act impulsively and rashly and a little bit recklessly. So the challenge this week might be that you want to kind of break out and you want to act and you want to impulse and you want to act impulsively or act rashly because maybe things aren't going the way that you want them to, or maybe you're not communicating things in the way that it can be heard. Again, this is going to come back to communications. We have Swords that deals with thought and deals with communication as well. So be articulate and be thoughtful and be conscious of the way that you're communicating with people in your environment this week. And the conclusion, we have the Two of Swords reversed. So it looks like there's a choice to be made here that a lot of my Geminis have been avoiding making. And we do have Uranus going retrograde in your 12th house. So this is important. I can't believe I forgot to touch on this for you guys, because Uranus has been in your 12th house and there's been a lot of just kind of sudden endings to things. And there's been a lot of, even the 12th house deals with the past. So maybe there's been some difficulty with letting go of things from the past. And this Uranus retrograde is going to kind of bring that stuff to the forefront. What do we need to let go of? What's not spiritually connecting? What doesn't feel divine? And there could be some choices that my Geminis need to make surrounding that you're refusing to kind of take off the blindfold and make the hard decisions. And maybe that is keeping you in a position where you're putting in a lot of work, but you're not receiving a lot of gains. And maybe you're kind of acting impulsively and acting rashly and kind of acting out in different ways that aren't thoroughly thought through, because there's all this kind of buildup that could come from these inner places of fear or trust issues or insecurity. So a lot of deeper stuff going on for my Geminis this week. But again, look back to what are you thinking? Your thoughts are so important, and what you're speaking is so important because it's creating the reality around you. So be cautious of that this week. Remember how important that is, that your thoughts are creating your reality. So be sure to be feeding your mind with more kind of positive and more kind of goal-oriented things that feel resonant with you. But in any case, that was really long and wordy. I'm sorry, you guys. I love you so much. I hope you're doing well out there. And I will be back next